Good Tuesday morning to you, Royal Caribbean guests and crew. I'm James Van Fleet, Chief Meteorologist here at the Port of Miami at our Royal Caribbean corporate headquarters with an update on Nicole and what's happening in your forecast out around the Caribbean, plus some touching base on the transatlantic crossings that are ongoing as we speak this morning as well. As of this morning, friends, the good news. I have zero changes to my forecast, advisement, and expectations of how this storm will play out. All of the really nasty weather that will come with what will be a lower end hurricane, around a Cat 1 hurricane, will be between the center and to the north. Now that's very different than what you're used to hearing us track, that right front southeast quadrant. That's where all the juice is. And while that is true of a tropical low, this is a hybrid-like situation with a ton of dry air all the way on the southern end. So while the winds may briefly be strong in that southeast quadrant, the rain, any push of swell, like where all of that really comes together, that is all going to be up on the north end between the cold fronts and Nicole itself. So that's central Florida, that's north of West Palm, that's Jacksonville, Daytona, Space Coast, and those regions on Wednesday and Thursday, and then it's off and up the eastern seaboard with the second front grabbing it Friday and Saturday. So with that said, again, expecting through the day it stays around 50 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts higher coming through the Bahamas on Wednesday. That's the windy day on the east coast of Florida, and then through Thursday, it's that mixture of rain and wind, again, central and north. Down in Dade and Miami and the southern tip of Florida, it's windy on Wednesday, a little bit of rain. That's about the bulk of it. I expect everything south of West Palm to fare very well as this tracks across. And then in the days ahead, as this storm rides up the east coast, we will see hugging the east coast a little bit of swell for you. So again, enchantment today, we got you north and out of this storm. You're in a little bit of swell, and as that rides up the seaboard, we'll stay in around 3 and 4 meter swell again late week. Anthem, same thing. When we come back up from Labadee, we'll hit the eastern side of that as it's a mess on the mid-Atlantic coast, and one day we're going to see just some slightly elevated swell. Wonder as you come across that right there, that's that swell I was talking about. It is going to be Thursday, one-day event of swell where you feel it a little bit and then you settle back down again on Friday. But what's happening is on the back end of a cold front, another low is going to generate, strengthen, and get going. And right as it's starting to do that is when you sail through it. And we're completely safe to do that. This system doesn't flex until you're well past it and it actually tracks north away from you. So having said that, in the days ahead, what we're going to be looking for is calming conditions in the Atlantic for those crossing behind you. So wonder, you have a little bit of swell on Thursday, but Odyssey, Vision, Brilliance, Rhapsody, everybody stacked behind you will not be going through the same system, and I think have calmer seas in the next 4 to 6 days. I'll come back, of course, with an update on how that's looking, but just to let you know in the next couple of days how that's going to play out. Also want to show you, Navigator, if you've been watching your weather apps, there is a storm that's up in North California around the Bay Area, and there is a lot of swell in the Pacific, but that swell is going to go more due south, and you'll be tucked up here closer to the coast as you make your runs down out of LA. And you will not have much swell from this. So just wanted to show you, if you're seeing that, you don't need to worry. That is not something that's coming on top of Navigator in our next voyage. And just briefly, Ovation and Quantum. So nice to see us back in Australia, running to New Zealand and New Caledonia, all around from Brisbane to Sydney and back and forth over to Auckland, North and South Island. So friends, it is so good to be over there in the Southern Pacific as well. And if you're watching in your forecast, I do expect the next 5 to 6 days to continue to maintain generally calm and tranquil conditions. No major systems are concerning me at this time for your next remainder of the week, really, and into the weekend. This is where you can find any of the social media channels that I'm on if you want to ask questions. For one thing on that, I'm liking a lot of them to let you know I've seen them and I will come back to addressing them. But some of the questions you are asking, I may not be able to address at the moment, either due to changes that might be coming and we're waiting for messaging to come from the company first. Then I'll talk about weather conditions, or we just may not have confidence in the forecast yet to address that question where I feel good about the answer I'm giving you. So I don't want to frustrate you that I've liked something and you don't see an answer yet. I just want to further explain what that's meaning. I have seen it, I'm acknowledging, I'm going to try to come back with an answer as soon as possible. I may just need a little more time. So having said that, friends, that's a look at Tuesday. When I join you again with another video forecast, it'll be on board Allure of the Seas. After this, I am headed to Texas to open up our Galveston brand new $125 million terminal and take Allure of the Seas. First time Oasis class is in Texas, out on Wednesday. Until then, see you, my friends. Stay safe and have a wonderful Tuesday.